Hey everyone, Amy Wood here, and I have Rob Dempsey with me. He's with his radio. He's heard all over the country, really, and is behind something that's really powerful and interesting in relation to a really tragic and terrible story. We've been talking about the mass shooting out in Oregon, and the storyline that emerged late last night and into this morning is person after person, witnesses saying that people were asked what their religion was, and when they said they were Christian, they were gunned down. And it's really heart-wrenching for a lot of Christians all over the country. His radio is a Christian radio station. And Rob, you did something about that this morning that's kind of taken fire on the internet. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, when I heard that story, I was so heartbroken. And then I was challenged myself because I'm thinking, if I was in that situation, if there was a gunman that was standing in front of me and asked me if I was a Christian, to stand up and saying, good, because you're going to meet God in 1 second, would I actually stand up and do that? And I thought, I think I would if that was there. And then I started thinking about all the Christ followers that follow Christ every single day, but are we really challenged ourselves in our lifestyles in a me generation to take a stand for him? And then I started thinking, well, these students, they literally stood up and they knew what was going to happen. They didn't have to say I was a Christ follower. They could have just sat down and said, I'm just going to be just like this. I'm going to keep my life. I want to live. But instead, because they were a Christ follower, they stood up and they knew what was going to happen. It was inevitable. And so I thought, let's do something that will honor them. We talked as a team on the morning show. Alison, Storm, and myself were like, we've had this hashtag, I am his. And this is to help encourage people to actually stand up and talk about their faith in Christ.
Sure.
And so we thought, let's honor these kids. If you wanted to honor somebody who took a stand and boldly say, I am his, let's do that together. And so we launched out that hashtag, I am his, to ask others to join in to honor those kids, those students who just gave up their lives like that to do something. And the hashtag is taken off. I'm having a hard time trying to keep up with all the social medias between Instagram and Facebook and Twitter of people that are saying, you know what? Hashtag I am his. I'm going to honor those students. I'm going to remember them. I'm going to take a stand along with them.
And we have seen people via some of the posts I've seen you share. They're actually writing it on their arms, their hands. I mean, they're writing it down.
Yeah, it's crazy because you'll see it on their hand, you'll see it on their arm. There's a couple that had one on one part of it, hashtag I am, and on the other hand, it was his. It is just amazing to see how people are wanting to stand with these students in Oregon and remember their parents and all the other victims of that horrible thing that happened in Oregon and that college.
We saw this storyline in the terrible Colorado shooting years ago. Do you remember that? I remember when one of the stories emerged about one of the young girls that stood up and said and expressed her faith and was gunned down for it there. And it was just, it just brought that back to me, that powerful story. And then to see it repeated apparently multiple times in this one is just heart-wrenching. What's the reaction been? I mean, are you having a massive reaction on Christian radio to this part of the story?
Yeah, well, at least in the Carolinas and Georgia, where his radio is broadcast in 8 different cities, there's a huge reaction. It's positive, and people are taking a stand, and they're finding hope, and they're finding security because they want to take a stand with these students in Oregon, and even more so than that, to remember their parents and remember their friends and remember those college students because they're going to be hurting for such a long time.
They really are. They're going to be hurting so badly. I want to invite in Alison Storm. She's your co-host in the mornings, and she is here with us, joining us on Blabs. We're going to get her in to talk a little bit about this. Alison, good afternoon. Tell me a little bit about how the hashtag is impacting you, the reaction. Is it pretty impactful, amazing to you?
Yeah, I've loved watching it all morning long and all day. I just keep tracking it and seeing what people are saying and seeing a lot of people doing what I did with the.
There you go. That's what I was talking about with Rob. Yeah, people are. They're like taking it, and it's beyond just a little written phrase. I mean, they're bringing it alive on their person. Even it's pretty powerful. What are the stories you're hearing? I mean, I guess you guys probably did. You have calls coming in from your listeners expressing their sorrow about this?
Oh, we absolutely did. Rob took several calls from people. You know, we're all over the Carolinas and part of Georgia, so our callers come from all over the place. And we heard from all ages today on the show this morning. You know, even people that may not be probably likely on social media, they wanted to call and be a part of it as well. We had one older lady and just people that are just trying to find hope wherever they can. I mean, nobody wants to talk about this, but talking about it in a way where we can all unite under it, I think is what Christ does for us. You know, we can find that hope through him, and that's the shining moment in tragedies like this.
Yeah. What is next? I mean, do you think for the folks, for example, who aren't on social media, could they, you know, write it on a piece of paper and put it in their windshield on their car? I mean, there are ways for people to do this, whether they're social media savvy or not, right?
Yeah, Rob might be able to talk about this a little bit, but we do have some T-shirts made, and there's some work being done for that. We're also putting it on. We're working just this afternoon on putting it on certain cups and things that you'll be able to get through his radio.
And is that going to be something? Are you going to try to use that as a fundraising mechanism, maybe for the families? How are you going to repurpose that, maybe for good?
We're just in the infancy stages of talking about that. Rob even has more info than I have right now at this point.
Okay, yeah, there was one T-shirt company that had contacted us and said, you know what, at cost, we want to make some T-shirts and then give the rest of that over and above to these families that are suffering right now. So we're in the process of talking to that one company, which is in the Greenville-Spartanburg area.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in. I want a T-shirt. So let me know. You guys get us
Absolutely.
the details. I'm going to post a web story with your interviews, and I will definitely, as we get the details, I will add that below somewhere in the post. You will see the links as they come available. So, hey, Sammy, how are you? Speaking of I am his, there's a little I am his.
That's right.
Hey, buddy. He's a little star.
It was cute. He was like, "What's on your hand, Mommy?" And I was trying to explain. He doesn't understand hashtag.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and some things are not, like, we can't explain some of these things to the young ones, right? I mean, it's just it's TMI, you know.
Right.
It's so sad. It's really sad. You know, there are a lot of stories on the news right now. Hey, Sammy, about you know, preparing our kids to deal with these scenarios. In fact, there was a story today that I guess it's New York City. They're about to have it mandatory that every building have a plan. People being trained to be ready to respond to these scenarios. It's really sad that we're living in this time, isn't it? I mean, it's just just such a bummer.
It really is. And it's even, you know, difficult for me when I'm on the air in the morning on his radio, because I constantly have to be thinking of the kids in the back seat. And, you know, as a mom, what can we even say? What words do we use to explain a tragedy like this in a way that's not going to make parents go, you know?
Got to turn it off.
Yeah, I'm sure it goes through your mind as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I have one in college. I have one in high school. I have one that's in elementary school. And, you know, my mind was going directly to that. What if they have to sit there and face that one day themselves? You know, I just keep praying for protection for our kids and all of our kids that have to face that.
Absolutely. Prayers of protection. They're a good thing to do. All right, you guys, we appreciate you sharing this this piece of this story. It's sort of the little bit of a shining light in a really, really dark moment. So thank you for doing this and for letting us know about it. We'll pass it on to others and let them know about it too. We've got some comments down here. Making sure the schools bring God back in is one of the folks' comments. Also, we must have faith, and somebody else posting the hashtag I am his. So thanks for those who watched, and thank you guys both for being here on Blab with us, and we'll see you again on his radio really soon.
Thanks, Amy.